Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. It is the 1st of June, 2025. We are down to 6 months left of this year. It's pretty exciting. It's bittersweet. It's very transformational. Anything can happen in the last 6 months of this year. So let's just make it count. Let's make good decisions. Let's die to our flesh. And let's just finish this year beautifully. Bust our ass in a good way. Really work towards becoming the best version of ourselves. In this video, I did want to talk about how I had to heal my anxious attachment style, because that is something that I've struggled with. I would say I noticed that I developed an anxious attachment style towards the end of when I was married. If you didn't know, if you're new to my channel, my name is Nicole and I post these types of videos. I share my experiences and I know a lot of people can relate. I'm very vulnerable on here. I'm very raw. I'm very honest. Sometimes I'm too open. Sometimes I tell too much of my business, which I shouldn't, but it is what it is. You live and you learn. I know that a lot of people can relate and a lot of people find comfort in my videos because I do speak from my own experience, from my own thoughts, how I in detail have overcome XYZ. All these situations in life that we go through that many other people go through that we're not aware of. And it helps other people. And that's my main goal on this whole platform, is to help other people to relate, for others to relate to me, and we can just help each other out, support each other, just promote a safe place for us to be human, to make mistakes, to learn from our mistakes, and to be better. So I was married, and then I was cheated on. I was in that relationship for 11 years, and I was married for 5 of those years until I found out about cheating that had happened, and 2 months later, I divorced the person. Just this year, February 2025, the divorce was granted. All glory to God. I've just been living my best life since. So I did realize that I developed an anxious attachment style towards the end of that relationship that I was in. I became very codependent on this person. When this person's behavior would fluctuate, my mood and my day would fluctuate. I just became very dependent on this person, and I'm not gonna go too much into detail. I kind of want to just stay focused on the anxious attachment style that I developed and had to learn how to navigate, heal from. It's not a good feeling to have an anxious attachment style to somebody. And not only was it that period of time that I developed that, but I also developed that with the last person that I was talking to, like my most recent person that I started dating and was talking to. I developed it again, which I didn't expect to develop. I'll go more into detail of that, but basically anxious attachment style, right? We all know what that is. It's not a good feeling. It pretty much takes over your mind, your body, your soul, your feelings. You pretty much revolve your whole mood and day and life around the other person. And it was a hard journey to, first of all, just even recognize that I had an anxious attachment style. I'm already an anxious person in general, so to have an anxious attachment style when it comes to relationships, dating, love, romance, when you are dealing with those anxious attachment behaviors, it's rough. You don't even recognize that you have that or you suffer from that. So the first thing is just recognizing that you have an anxious attachment style. You are codependent, basically. That is not healthy. That is not good for you. It's not how you want to live your life. It's not a good feeling. I remember being very not at peace at all, and you will never find peace. When you have an anxious attachment style, you will never be at peace. And it's almost like you are addicted to the highest highs and the low lows. It's like you become accustomed and you get used to the emotional roller coaster. The highs, the lows, inconsistency, not being at peace. It is a horrible feeling, and I feel for the people that are still struggling with an anxious attachment style. I remember being just very dependent, was never at peace. I was struggling to realize why I was feeling the way that I was feeling. I was struggling with how to actually mentally take myself out of that headspace of, why am I this way? What can I do to change these thoughts that I'm having, the way that I'm feeling? And I'm literally consumed by this other person. And a lot of it had to do with not having your own life, not having your independence, hyper fixating and hyper focusing on the person and not yourself. not your life. It's very easy to get very consumed in a person. I get it. I understand. I know what that feels like. I have done that many times. Centering your person, making them the main, your everything, basically. I know what that feels like, and that is not healthy. It's not a good thing. We have to find the balance of loving our partner, but also having our own life, having our own space, having our own shit going on, because when you are just solely focused on the other person and what they're doing, their behaviors, what they got going on, it's like you truly lose yourself. That's basically what happens. You lose yourself, you lose your life, you become just a watcher of the other person, and it's like you don't exist, and it's the saddest thing ever to see. I've experienced and developed that towards the end of that past relationship that I was in, and then when I was dating this new person, I developed that. I think because I can honestly say that I fell in love with this person, which is so crazy to think, but fucking fell in love with this person that I was talking to. We weren't even like official or any of that, which is so nuts. I fell in love with the person, and I've only known them for 2 months. Yeah. Those are my true feelings. And then I developed an anxious attachment style. I recognized that I was clinging on to this person in unhealthy ways. And it was very weird for me to see, like, in myself. Like, yes, I was aware that I had something going on, but I didn't really accept or recognize that I had an anxious attachment style when I was dealing with that and discovered that and developed that in that past relationship. But in the situationship that I got in, that's when I actually realized that, holy shit, I may have an anxious attachment style. Although this person was kind in general, he was a gentleman, he was respectful, I seen the way he treated other people. Even though things didn't work out between me and him, like, I still adored him. What's so significant about this time around is that this time around, I recognized it, I accepted it, and I had to do the mental work. I had to do the inner work to mentally get myself out of the headspace and remind myself that, bitch, you have a whole ass life you need to focus on in this season. You have a lot going on right now. Your divorce just got finalized. You are legally single after 11 years, even more, because previously I was in other relationships. I had to do the inner fucking work. I had to really think about and write, like, I journaled about this too, because I needed to get my thoughts out on paper. I needed to get everything that was on my mind down on a piece of paper for me to look at it and comprehend it, let it soak in my brain, because I just wasn't getting it. Clearly, I had to mentally tell myself, like, okay, you really like this person, you even can say that you fell in love with this person in the short amount of time that you did, and I really like the person for who they were, even though things didn't work out the way that I ideally in my mind wanted things to work out. I really had to reframe my thinking, like, okay, yes, you can like this person. Maybe it's the timing, maybe it's not the right person, maybe this person was just sent by God, or we were meant to cross paths for me to learn this lesson and to recognize the anxious attachment style that I had. You can put people up on a pedestal. You can completely forget about yourself. And because I like this person so fucking much, I kind of lost myself for a bit. Wait, no, my camera is overheating. Sony. The shape of keeps. I had to reframe my thinking and take a huge step back and remind myself that you can really like the person, but do not let it consume you. Don't let it consume my feelings, my mood, my thoughts, my life, my day. Like, I was truly just being too consumed with this person. And I think because I really like this person. So of course, when you really like somebody, you kind of go a little ape shit. Like, you get a little stupid a little bit. If you know, you know. So I was dumbed out for a little bit, stuck on love, stuck on stupid. That's where I realized that I had an anxious attachment style, which I worked so hard within the past even few weeks. Like, the ending, I think the whole month of May is when I completely healed from having that anxious attachment style. And it was the hardest inner work that I ever had to freaking do. It was so hard. It was not easy. There were many nights, like, I can admit that there were many nights that I cried because just so much things, you know, like realizing how much work I have to do, appreciating being grateful for the progress that I've made and how far I've come, but also realizing how much more I have to heal from. Reframing your thinking. It doesn't take a few days. It doesn't it doesn't happen overnight. You know, it's something that reoccurs, and you have to like work through it. Every single time a feeling comes up, a mood comes up, or a thought comes up, every single opportunity that you have to reframe your thinking, really work on your mentality towards certain things. It's hard. It doesn't take just a day. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes constant work at. For the whole month of May, I literally worked so hard to get out of that anxious attachment style. I no longer feel any type of way towards this person. I obviously wish him the best in life, and I pray for him. I pray that whatever he's going through, that he may go through it, and I pray for blessings in his life, and I pray for my own life, my own moving on, and I truly trust in God's timing and his plan. I'm open to whatever God has in store for me. Relationship-wise, I'm open to it. I'm proud of myself. I really had to get myself out of that place, detach, focus, refocus on me, because I got lost a little bit. I have no problem admitting that. I'm human, I'm open, I'm honest. That's just the truth. You know, I have nothing to hide. I have nothing to lie about on the internet. It was rough, but I'm here. It is possible to no longer be that type of person, to have an anxious attachment style. It doesn't feel good, and you can definitely recognize it early on. It just takes inner work to get out of that. And that's what that whole month of May was. Me healing, wasn't involved with no one, focusing on my job, my work, hustling, grinding in the healthiest way possible, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, financially. So the month of May was honestly a very healing, transformational time for me. And the fact that it is June 1st is beautiful. The fact that June 1st lands on a Sunday just screams blessings, abundance, and newness. I'm really happy about that, and I'm really excited. It's gonna be all about me. There's been some temptation situations, I'm not gonna lie, within the past week or so, but I really think that's the devil trying to suck me back into my old ways and my old habits, my old life. I beat that bitch, okay? We're not gonna let the devil win. We're not gonna let the devil be satisfied. We're just not. We're not. Our God is greater. One thing that I've also been learning is, dying to my flesh. I've been doing this for a long time, but especially the month of May, this past week, there was situations that came up that was testing me, testing my faith. I don't know, I just felt really tested. Dying to your flesh. You know, things that you want to do, reacting a certain way. I caught myself many times like, Nicole, no, you're not going to do this. You're not going to do that. You're not going to think this. You're not going to react this way. You're not going to feel this way. Woo, girl, I was working, smirking. Just trying to be better, not to repeat old patterns. You know, I'm not the old me anymore. I'm a brand new person. I'm this new person, and I've worked too fucking hard to take 1,000 steps backwards. Like, no. I have come too far just to come this far. It would be a disservice to myself if I go back to my old ways. Like, no, I worked too fucking hard to get to where I'm at. So there will be tempting times in your life. You know, that's just real. That's the truth. That's reality. You'll be tempted to react, to do things, to entertain, to all these things. You'll be tested. We're not gonna let the devil win. He could suck my... I need to stop. But I'm happy. There's been many testing times, and I'm very proud of myself because I didn't fold. I didn't go back to my old ways and my old habits, my old ways of thinking. I'm proud of myself. Truly, truly proud of myself. We are pushing forward. This is a new opportunity for the next 6 months of this year to level the fuck up, boss the fuck up, evolve, get better, stack them rocks, thrive. Thrive. A lot of it is dying to your flesh, because satisfying your flesh is something that you want to do, right, in the moment. But you know it's going to be only good for that moment. You're going to feel satisfied for that moment, whether it's talking to somebody, making a decision, reacting, saying what you really want to say, just really giving into your flesh. It's going to feel good for that moment. That temporary fulfillment feeling doesn't beat the fulfillment that you feel in your soul when you do the right thing. When you are truly headed in the right path, and you are truly headed towards the path that you want for yourself to become a better person. You not reacting. You not doing XYZ because your flesh wanted to. That fulfillment feeling, when that moment passes and you realize, I'm so glad I didn't do this. I'm so glad I didn't say that. I'm so glad that I didn't react this way. That feeling of fulfillment is so much more fulfilling to your soul than any fulfilling feelings that you can have for your flesh. And that is so temporary. Your flesh fulfillment is so temporary. It's just not worth it. So if you can really buckle down in those tempting moment, the feeling that you get after that moment passes and you not satisfying your flesh is more fulfilling than anything, because you're fulfilling your soul, and that just feels truly, truly fulfilling. I hope that with this video, you don't give in to your flesh. You just know when you're not supposed to do something, and when that thought pops up, like, that's your answer. That's what you need to listen to, is that thought and that gut feeling that, yeah, you shouldn't do this. In the moment you want to, but you know that you will be happy and so glad and relieved that you didn't. If you just let shit pass, stand firm, stand on business, you'll be good. Healing my anxious attachment style hasn't been easy. If anyone has any questions or any comments that you want to make, leave them down below. I can talk to you if you guys need any type of words of wisdom or advice or just support, emotional support. You can DM me on Instagram or here in the comments, and I'll be glad to help. Just know that you are amazing. You are worthy of what you want and what you deserve. Change is possible. Growth is possible. And temporary flesh fulfillment is nothing compared to fulfilling your soul. That's the message of this video.